Good morning, everybody. I think it's working today. I don't know what happened last week. It was some kind of weird glitch with YouTube. I tried and tried and even tried a different computer and even went to the Blind Pig and the Acorn YouTube channel and tried to go live from there. I thought I'll just try and see what happens, but nothing would work. So I had to take Granny to a doctor's appointment over in Blairsville. So I finally just had to say, I got to quit. I got to quit trying. So I missed visiting with you all, though. I really missed visiting with you last Monday. And I know a lot of people was worried about us, but that's what it was, just a glitch with YouTube, and it just would not let me go live. And so that's just what happened. But I'm glad it works today. Glad I'm able to be back with you. And I hope all of you are well. Hope everybody's had a nice weekend, and we had a nice weekend and pretty weather. Today it's raining this morning, but I'm glad. We need some rain on the garden, the things that we have planted. So I'm thankful for the rain this morning, and I don't think it's supposed to rain all day, but I'm thankful for the rain. What we did get overnight, I woke up and heard it raining and thought, I didn't know it's supposed to rain, but I'm thankful for that. And I hope all of you are doing well, and maybe you're getting to enjoy some spring-like weather like we are. We've had some really nice days and warm sunshine and things blooming, and it's been really, really nice. I still wouldn't mind a big snow, but this time of the year, I'm like, well, I didn't get no more snow than I did. I'm just going to have to let that go and hope I get one next year. Hope I get a really big one next year, and got to get out in the gardens and all that kind of stuff's what we're thinking about. If you watched the video last night, you know that Matt and I were able to get all the posts up on the shed. So that was major. That was really great. That was part of Matt once he got that done, he was going to feel better about it. And so we've got a good start on it. And hopefully this week we can do the next step, I hope. So it was really great. I had several people, though, ask in that video why Austin wasn't helping. Well, Austin works full time, so he's at work while me and Matt's out working. That's the great blessing that all of you help us have, is that we can work on, Thursday and Friday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Monday. We can work during the day when everybody else is at work. It's such a blessing. All the years that Matt and I both worked outside the home, of course, any kind of project like that had to be done on Saturdays. That was it. You had Saturdays. Now, you might have some evenings when you got off work. If you wasn't too tired, you might make a showing then. But as far as the garden and things like that, but it's so glorious to be able to work on whatever day we want to. But Austin, of course, that means he is at work. He's working his 40-hour-a-week job and providing for his family. So that's why he was not helping us that day. Paul now is retired, and he's told Matt several times that he would help. He can help any day too. Now he's like us, but I'm sure Matt will be calling on him to help once he gets up to the roof part. But we managed on that day to do that part, just me and him. We make a pretty good team. I'm a good gopher and a good hander and holder. That's all I can do. But sometimes, as Matt's so good at stuff, that's all he needs is somebody to hold and hand and go get. So that was nice. A lot of you know already, one of the videos I mentioned last week that we've had a stomach virus going through our family. Everyone has had it now but me. I'm the only one that's not had it. So maybe that means I'm not going to get it, or maybe I'm still going to get it. I hope not. But Matt had it last week, and it put him down too, just like it did had done Corey and Austin and Katie, and Ira and Woodrow kind of had a touch of it, not as bad. But Matt's feeling better, and they're all feeling better. And I'm hoping it means that I'm not going to get it, because surely by now I would have, since it's been through everybody, and it seems to be very, very contagious. So I hope that means I'm not going to get it. Poor little Ira and Katie, though, they had that. Then let's see, they would have already been contaminated with another thing before they had it. But not yesterday, but the previous Sunday at church, because that's the only place they've been, they must. And Corey brought us the stomach bug. It come from Corey. But they must have picked up a little germ. So they've both been sick this week with like a respiratory thing with a fever. So it's the first time that Ira's been really sick. Now he's not terribly sick or anything, but it's always worrisome when a little baby runs a fever and is croupy and all that. So and Katie's croupy herself. So they're both feeling that. And I guess that'll be the next thing. My throat's a little scratchy, but it's been like that for about 2 days. So I think that's probably what the only part I'll get from that, I hope. It's this time of the year, you don't, you just don't know where you go. You pick up stuff, and a lot of people tell us, well, you should do stuff for you to boost your immunity. We do. We take elderberry and we do all those things, but sometimes you just get it. And Katie may have already been, her system may have been weakened with the stomach virus, and maybe that's why she got the little virus. But Ira had it first, and yesterday they didn't go to church, but because they were running their fevers and stuff. But I just, in your mind you always try to think about where they picked it up at. And the cutest little kid sat right behind me, and then I remembered the week before Ira had been swapping toys with them, playing with them, and I thought that's probably where he picked it up, and then he gave it to his mama, and may give it to the rest of us. But we've not been around Woodrow and Corey and Austin yet from the stomach virus, so we won't be passing it to them. Anyway, we're all, and a lot of people ask about Granny. Granny's good. We didn't pass anything to her, so she's doing good too. She's doing good, and feeling good, and we appreciate all your prayers for her. And she's so funny. She called me yesterday and she said, go put your TV on channel 259. And I said, how come? And she said, the Pioneer Woman's on. And I thought maybe it was, the Pioneer Woman that cooks and all that. And I thought, well, she must be making a recipe or something. That's all. Granny just hung up, that's all. So I went and got the remote, and then I thought, wait a minute, I don't have no channel 259 because we just have the Roku. So there's no channels. So I called her back and I was like, I can't, my TV don't work like that. What is it that is she cooking something or what? And she's like, what? And I said, I mean, is she the Pioneer Woman? Is she cooking something? She said, no, it's a movie. I said, oh, okay. It's a movie. She said, yeah, it's a really good movie. Go see if you can find it. I hope you can find it. And I said, well, okay, I will. But truthfully, I didn't go look for it after I knew that, because I knew I didn't have time to watch a movie. But I'm sure Granny will tell me all about it today. Tell me about the whatever movie it was that she was watching. Maybe some of you know about that movie too. Maybe some of you do. Last week, some of the stuff I was going to talk about that I didn't get to, I won't go over all of it. But one of the things was I was going to thank you. So many people told me, well, I know why they call Lenten roses is because they bloom during Lent. I would have never thought of that on my own. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for that. And a lot of people also told me that I should have just made brown sugar by using molasses and white sugar in the recipe that I was making. And I knew that, but I didn't even think about it. So thank you for reminding me of that. I knew that you could do that, but I didn't even think about it. So thank you for reminding me of that. One other thing I was going to talk about last week was someone had asked, would we ever talk about what we had done to kind of make Granny's house easier for her to stay in, thinking about like when you get older and your mobility's not as good and all that. Luckily, she does pretty good. She's got a cane and she only uses it in the house, though. She really don't use it anywhere else. Of course, if she's going somewhere with me or Paul or something, we kind of let her hold on to us and hold on to her. But the things that we have done, this kind of the common things people tell you about is that there's a ramp outside her house. We didn't actually build that for Granny. Matt built it. He built it for Pap when he broke his hip. And we had to have a way to get him in the house because he had to stay in a wheelchair for a little bit. And so she has a ramp, although I will tell you that Granny don't like to go down the ramp. She wants to go down the steps. There's like 3 steps on the other side. She prefers to go down the steps. She won't go down the ramp. So you have to help her down the steps. She's very stubborn. And then inside the house, there's all the things they tell you, like be careful of throw rugs and things like that could trip you up. And of course, open spaces, like when Pap was in that wheelchair, we had to make sure everything was open so that he could maneuver. Now, Granny's just got her cane, so she's can still walk good. And in in the bathroom, You can get those, like a higher commode. We've done that. And also, like, there's different kinds of showers and stuff that you can do. But instead of doing that, we got like a bar that so we didn't have to replace her whole bathtub that's been there since she was first moved in, since we moved in, but a bar for her to hold on to, a pad in the bathtub to keep her from slipping. So I'm sure there's many more tips like that, though. A lot of you can share them. And little things, though. Granny gets really cold, thinking about, she takes blood thinners and she's just real cold natured. And then you take those, makes you chill sometimes. So we have, I got her a long time ago, years ago now, like a heated blanket to put on her bed. And then more recently, Paul's got one and put it in the living room. So she would, if she got real cold, she'd just go, even in the summer, go turn that on and lay down for a few minutes and get warmed back up. Her feet has poor circulation and gets really, really cold. But he's got her one now for in the living room, so she can just, I think she pretty much keeps it turned on all the time, turns it on and keeps it in her lap. And that just keeps her from getting, if you get a chill like that and you start kind of getting achy, then you feel bad all over. And of course, some people may not deal with chills like that, like Granny does. Anyway, and of course, she's got heat and stuff, but sometimes you just need something a little extra if you're cold. So those are all some of the only tips I can share about Granny. Thankfully, her and Pat both were um, really mobile. I mean, Pap was too. Pap was, after he got over breaking his hip, it healed completely. He was back to where he could, hop around and do good. And he could have continued working if it wasn't every time, it was his heart. It was angina pain. But it wasn't physically, like he could still get around real good and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, if you've got more tips about how to keep elderly people safer in their homes, please leave them in the comments there. Please do that and share one with another. I've seen some of the praise reports over there. I'm just glancing. That's wonderful. Praise the Lord. Thank you. And thank you for praying for each other. And I hope you'll continue to do that. This morning, Brenda asked me that we would pray for Bob. He has cancer. He has dementia. So please remember him. And then also remember his children, because it looks like that he may be in his last days, and it's always hard to lose a parent. So please pray for him. Also, continue to remember Janice, my friend Wendy, and Mama Stiles was in the hospital, but I think she's home. So thank you for praying for her. Please continue to pray for Kathy, her hip replacement. And I think she was having other problems too, and praying for one another. And we appreciate all the prayers you've prayed for us, and praying for Granny and her cancer and all that. We're so thankful to you all for praying for us. And I know a lot of people's prayed just for our stomach virus. I thank you for that. And so many of you said that's going around where I live, and it's really, really bad. So I pray for all of them too. It's stomach virus is really hard on you. And Corey had it first, and her and Austin both had it pretty bad. And I got to tease them, though. Corey said, I just don't remember stomach viruses being this bad. And I said, well, that's what happens when you get older. They are worse. They're much worse than when you were a kid. Everything is much worse when you get older. So I got to tease both of them. One thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to go in a little while. Rob has more mugs. And I'm just going to put our Etsy shop, the link here. Now the mugs are not in there yet. There's the link, though. That's where we would sell our CDs. Mine and Jim Cassidy's cookbook is in there. The calendars, there's just a few of those left, so they're about gone. But that's where the mugs will be, and I will put them in there between now and next Sunday. But they will go live Sunday. So if you were one of the people wanting a mug next Sunday morning, you can look for mugs in the Etsy shop there. He just let me know over the weekend that he had them ready, so that's exciting. I didn't get to share with you last week because of the technical difficulties, the songs that Paul shared on the Blind Pig and the Acorn YouTube channel last week, or the week before it would have been, and they were really good. And I'm going to put those in the description below, so you can come back later and look, or you can just go to the Blind Pig and the Acorn YouTube channel too and check them out. But there was one he wrote, Dreams. That's one of my favorite songs that he wrote. He talks about it and explains when he wrote it and all that. I really love it. But then really interesting was he made a video of songs. There's just, I think it's 2 songs, but that Bugs Bunny taught him. Now, if you're like me and Paul, you grew up in the era of the Looney Tunes and the Saturday morning cartoons and all that. Paul liked cartoons way more than I did. I never cared for cartoons. But anyway, I liked that video a lot. Was that songs I learned from Bugs Bunny, so that was kind of funny. And then for the March story series, which is going to be over, of course, but it was across the Brazos at Waco. So and if you follow the Blind Pig and the Acorn, I shared it on there yesterday on my blog, so you can check those out. Go over there, or I'll put them in the description below too in a little while. And then the ones for this week, a lot of you have probably already seen it and enjoyed it a lot, was he did. Him and Granny together did I've Got a Mansion Just Over the Hilltop. You might remember that old gospel song. I grew up singing it, of course, in church, and we still sing it. And but it's a song, one of those songs, like I said, that I just know all my life growing up, know the words to and all that. But it always reminds me of Granny's family, of the Jenkins. They would get together on Sundays, and they sung too. They were singers too, like Pap's family. So I can just hear some of them singing it, Uncle Henry Truitt and some of the others. So that seems like if they did sing, they always sung that song. So it always reminds me of them. So that's Granny and Paul, though. You can hear them doing that. And then this was one Paul wrote too that I had forgot about, but it's a really great one. And he talks about it and explains that was for his original. He tries to share an original, not always his song, but original by someone he knows, usually personally. But Why Are You Back in Town? And I love the song, but then I found it really interesting what he talked about. And then the March story song there was Skyball Paint. And this may be the last story song. I guess it would be. So, but it's a real short song, but it's a cowboy song. It's a really good one. It's got the yippee-ki-yay and all that in it that I really love. I've listened to it a whole bunch since he put it up. And you can read in the description. He don't talk in that video. It's just the song. I think it's like 2 minutes or something. But anyway, you can read in the description about how he learned it and all that kind of stuff. I really like it. Really like those. So I wanted to share one thing that my friend had sent me, still thinking about the people recovering from Helene. There's so many organizations still helping, the folks that Deep River Farm works with, Samaritan's Purse, the North Carolina Baptist. There's lots of people still there helping in different ways. So support them where you can. But also now that we're getting into the gardening part of the year and thinking about it, there's just been so much more light shed on the fact that a lot of people lost their topsoil's gone, and then there's so much contaminants. So I'm just going to read this and then I'll share the link. But it says, to help with recovery, the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services Agronomic Services Division, that's a mouthful, is offering all of its services, soil testing, nematode analysis, and analysis of plant waste solution and media samples at no cost to growers in the 27 presidential disaster counties. You see the 27 counties when you hear that, how much places were damaged. These are helpful services as growers prepare for the upcoming season. The soil testing service is ready to provide lime and fertilizer recommendations to help growers establish optimum fertility in fields for the upcoming growing season. Severe erosion and I'm sorry, I lost my place. Severe erosion and damage of soils from other areas occurred during the storm, or not damages, like where soil was took and then put somewhere else, like it was, you may have lost your farm and now it's down the road in somebody else's farm. Occurred during the storm. Learn more here. So I'm going to give you that link, and you could share it with anybody that's in that area that's struggling with that or facing those terrible, I just can't even imagine. Even like we've said the whole time, it's going to take years and years and years for people to recover, and definitely that would be. And I don't know why it's not going to let me put the link. It doesn't like it for some reason. Let's see if I can just grab this part and see what that does. And I will put this in the description below too. I should have made it a little link and I didn't. So maybe that'll work. I hope so. I think it will. Okay. But so much, I think about all the years Matt and I have worked so hard to enrich our soil because, of course, when we first moved in here, it was just red clay, and now we have beautiful, rich soil, and we still work on it every year, adding compost. And I can't imagine just if it was all gone, all that work is such a valuable, valuable thing. So please share that link and with anyone you know who may need it. And I think I'm ready to share your wonderful wisdom from the comments. Y'all just keep sending them. I love it. Keep sending it. I'm going to first read some that people had sent me in emails or either commented on my blog. This was from Phyllis Briggs. I'll kind of read the whole thing to you. If you read The Blind Pig and the Acorn, you've already heard this, but I was 8-year-old in the 3rd grade in 1955. At the end of the school year, along with pictures, we received memory books. We traded pictures with the friends and placed them in the books. Blank pages were in the back of the book for our friends to write something special. My 17-year-old sister wrote, "I'll love you till the ocean wears rubber pants to keep its bottom dry." Isn't that so funny? I thought y'all would love that. She thought I would love it. I did, and I thought you would too. There's another one that's where you would write, "You are too sweet to be," and then with an addition, like a plus sign. So it's like addition in the line and then forgotten under it. You might remember doing something like that when you were young. I do. So thank you, Phyllis, for sending that. I love it, though. "I love you till the ocean wears rubber pants to keep its bottom dry." That's just so cute. This one is from Diana. I don't really have, I really don't have words of wisdom, but I found this and put it on a bulletin board in the school library where I worked for 28 years. Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's learning to dance in the rain. I've read that one and seen it. I can even see the poster with someone in the rain. So you may have heard that one too, but that's a good one. Thank you, Diana. Terry Beth said, "Thanks, Tipper. I suffer from anxiety and often have to remind myself of this acrostic for fear: false events appearing real." That's a good one to remember. So thank you so much. Thank you, Terry Beth, for sending that one. That's a good reminder. Ron Bass says, "A broken crayon can still color a beautiful picture." That's a really deep one and a really colorful way to say it. Melanie said, "I just read a quote that really struck a note in me. Stop cleaning the cobwebs of sin and instead kill the spider." If you're a believer, that's a really, really deep one. Rain said, "I just read this old African saying in a book and had to share for your wisdom from the comments on your live stream. When an elder dies, a library burns to the ground." I've heard that one before, and I bet some of you too have too. That's so true. And I love our elders, and I love thinking about it, whether it's granny or like an elder at church, someone like that. And I love thinking about the wisdom they know about real serious life things. And maybe they've studied, whether it's the Bible or, I don't know, maybe they're into engineering or something. They have all that knowledge. They've really managed to acquire a lot of knowledge. But I love let me just wait a minute. I see something bad here. Okay, sorry. I've got somebody bad in the chat there. They're gone though, I hope. Sorry about that. Anyway, I like thinking about those things, the big things or the important things, what we think, but I like thinking about the everyday thing, like how they knew that if they done their bread this way, it turned out better. They knew if they washed their clothes and done something trivial, just whatever for them. I love thinking about all those little bitty things. So I love thinking about that too. And it's so true. They have so much knowledge. Okay. Now let's see if we can find some in here. This is one y'all had left. This is from Gary. I've encountered this experience, words of wisdom. 6 degrees of separation is the idea that all people are 6 or fewer social connections away from each other. As a result, a chain of a friend statements can be made to connect any two people in a maximum of 6 steps. You've probably heard that too. I have, and I think there's the movie, then there's the Kevin Bacon meme or analogy that people use. But it's so funny that Gary left that because we had been talking about that in relation to people that we knew. Then it turned out that they knew, it was this whole big complicated thing, but it brought them right back to us. So we had been talking about that already. So thank you, Gary. That's really great. So this is from Lila. My dad's wisdom: there is too much month at the end of the money. I think a lot of us can identify with that one. This is from Psalm 1. I can't see the rest of it. I ought to know it. 120 maybe. Thinking about thread makes me think of something I read about a tapestry. If you look at the tapestry from the back, you see a lot of black thread. If you look at the back black, you see all the pain that you went through in a season of life. But if you turn the tapestry over, you will see the black thread is actually a shadow that gives depth and richness to the picture of your life. That is so true. And I don't really know much about tapestries, but it reminded me of the same thing of the embroidery, especially when I embroidered. The back looked terrible, but then the front looked nice. And it took all that bad to make the front look nice. So thank you so much for sharing that one. That's a deep one too to think about. Thank you. Teresa Ann said, my father said to always leave a place better than when you arrived. That's really good words to live by. I love that. This is from Rough Hewn. And again, I can't see the rest of the thing. I'm sorry. I know you're one of our followers and I appreciate you. A bit of wisdom I've appreciated comes from another YouTuber's husband. Shay Elliott of the Elliott Homestead says when she feels frustrated about how the world is going, the things people do that are hurtful or wrong or unethical, her husband says the world is going to world. In other words, there will always be frustrating things going on in the world. We can't change that, but we can still choose to do what's right. It's become a saying in our house, the world is going to world. We're in it, but we're not to be of it. So thank you for sharing that. Sometimes that for me is helpful just to think there's just nothing, that's just how it is. I used to work with us kind of the same thing as that, the world's going to world. I really like that. But I used to work with a professor at the college and her saying was, it is what it is. There's just some things you can't change. It is what it is. This was from Pam Strickland. Wisdom was brought to mind last night. My son and I was watching something on TV and the person said they might. I paused the TV and looked at my son. I asked, do you know what Granny always said about I might? He just looked at me. Anytime us kids would say I might, she would answer, mights don't fly. We got the message loud and clear. That's some real wisdom in that too. Mights don't fly. I really love that, Pam. Thank you. Real encouragement there too. You got to try. This is from Kat. Wisdom: making marriage work is like running a farm. You have to start over again each morning. True. It is work to make a marriage work. Joe Field says, words of wisdom. When speaking about an upcoming event, I've heard many times, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. I bet you've heard that. I have. Grew up hearing that one. Joanne says, here's a comment: youth is wasted on the young. Even as something as simple as like Corey not realizing, I mean, and I didn't either, not saying that I did. You don't realize when you're young how you can just get sick and bounce right back. And then when you get older, you can't do that anymore. If you feed your faith, your problems will starve to death. That was from Kathy. If you feed your faith, your problems will starve to death. I really love that one. Thank you. This is from Olivia. If you're going to walk on thin ice, you might as well dance. If you're taking a risk, you might as well make the most of it. Thank you, Olivia. This is from Sharon. Wisdom for you attributed to Winston Churchill. You make a living by what you get. You make a life by what you give. Thank you, Sharon. I really like that. The spirit of generosity does enrich our lives for sure. This is from Edna. Edna says, words of wisdom: live and learn, then learn to live. I like that. Live and learn, then learn to live. That's the wisdom that you only gain, though, by getting older. Thank you, Edna. That was a good one. This is from Ophelia. Muddy water only gets clear when still. So too the mind. In silence, truth rises, and in noise, it hides. That's a really deep one, and really good to dwell on that and study on that. I do love it that muddy waters, that part of it only gets clear when still. I love it all, thinking about it compared to the mind. But I love too just thinking about sometimes when we're just worrying something to death, if we just step back and leave it alone, it'll usually work itself out. Or as a believer, I believe I should give God room to fix it, not trying to fix it myself. This is from JMZG5EF. A pearl of wisdom. Worry is a misuse of imagination. That's a good one. Worry is a misuse of imagination. This one's more of a something funny, but it's great. I'll read it. This is from, I don't know how to say it. So Laseaellies. Lassie Ellis, maybe? Lassie Ellis. I'm sorry, I'm butchering your name. I apologize. My mom has lots of sayings that were passed down from generation to generation to us. One sort of risque one was something my grandmother, mom's mother, would say when she would get really tired, maybe from working in the garden or just living in general in those days. She would say, I feel like I've been drugged through the north end of a southbound mule. Another one she would tell us, words of wisdom, was about a man that felt bad because he didn't have any shoes until he saw a man that didn't have any feet. Lastly, I'd like to tell you a story that we've always found funny. My grandmother and her mother were driving to town one day when the car started to overheat. My great grandma, Bessie, was distraught and looked down at the car panel and said, Oh Lord, Ruth, my grandma's name, look, the car is up to Ziz, Z-I-Z. Back in those days, the display on old cars would show if a car was getting hot in degrees. The temperature gauge was on 212 degrees, but Grandma Bessie thought it said Ziz. So we always say it's hotter than Ziz. Just wanted to share those with you all. Thank you for sharing all of them. And I especially love the story of Ziz and how it become part of your family. That's so funny how it become part of your family sayings. I bet all of you, I bet your families have those that somebody else would be like, what are you talking about? But your family would understand and get it. This is from Teresa. Words of wisdom. God answers our prayers, but he doesn't expect us to lean on a shovel and pray for a hole. That's a good one. That's a really good one. This is Aunt Minerva. Aunt Minerva. Words of wisdom. Only brush the teeth you intend to keep. That's a deep one if you think about it. Study on that one. From Linda, a bit of wisdom. The right thing is always the right thing to do. I really love that one because it's so simple and even a child can understand it. And then as you get older, it could just become part of the core who you are. The right thing is always the right thing to do, no matter how hard it is, no matter how whatever, it's always the right thing to do. I really love that. Thank you, Linda. Marshall said, My granny told me before I got married 42 years ago, the key to a successful marriage is being strong when your partner is weak. That's really beautiful, too. Really beautiful. Thank you. Amy says, Wisdom. Every convenience gained is a good skill lost. That's good. And that's all those skills I was talking about, whether it's like how to wash your clothes on a washboard or whatever, that the convenience took away the knowledge of how to do that. That's really true. So much convenience that we have today, we've lost how to actually do things. So that's good. This is from Tina. Worrying is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but never gets you anywhere. I just read that and thought you'd like it. I do like it. Yeah, I like it. I like that a lot. Thank you. Thank you, Tina. Ember says, your strategy about letting a thing go when you get mad reminds me of what grandma used to say. The more you stir yarn, the worse it smells. That is so colorful and so good. And that kind of goes back to the muddy water one. Like sometimes you just got to leave it alone. But the more you stir something up, and we all unfortunately know people that like to stir things up, the worse it gets. And yarn, if you didn't know that, that's just like rotting, dead flesh, rotting something that smells terrible. Sometimes you hear people in Appalachia say it like yarn, and sometimes you hear carny. Really interesting word, but it smells something that smells like really death, rotting death. This is the last one. I got one more I'm gonna share with you, but the last one I'll share from y'all, from Vanessa. I'm from Hickory and was raised calling little tomatoes Tommy toes. We also called washers or waspers. Words of wisdom from my friend's 98-year-old father. If you try to keep up with the Joneses, you may just go bankrupt with them too. That one's a wise one, but also kind of makes you smile, trying to keep up with the Joneses. You may just go bankrupt with them. That's a really good one. So that was all of those. I wanted to share one though and tell you about what I've been reading. I'm like an avid reader. I read all the time, one book right after another, mostly all fiction books. I'm a fiction junkie, and I really enjoy them. All different sorts of like mysteries and historical stuff, and I don't know. Yeah, I just like to read a lot. But lately, I've been, if you watch all our videos, you know I've been on this quest of cleaning out and going through stuff. So when I was going through stuff in the dangerous room, our dangerous room we have, I come across all of my Little House on the Prairie books. And I read them, ages ago and just kept them. I mean, when I was a young girl and just kept them all these years thinking that my daughters would read them, my children would read them. Now I'm thinking I might read them to Woodrow and Ira someday. But I was looking at them, and I'm not really one to go back and read books. I don't like to do that I guess I'm always wanting the next book, and I'm not one to watch a movie over and over. I just don't, maybe the Christmas stuff, something like that. But anyway, I normally don't read books again. But I was looking at them and I thought, it's been so long since I read those books. I should just get them out and read every one of them again and just fall back into that world of Little House on the Prairie. So I did. I've read two, and now I'm reading a different book, and then I'll jump back in. But of course, the first one I read, this is my old book. You can see it, Little House in the Big Woods, and you can see how it's kind of tore and got some scribbles on the inside of it, and it's in poor shape, but it's all still there. Anyway, I read it. Didn't take no time to read it. It's a little, little short book, and I love all of the illustrations. Though, can you see that? That's when they're at the grandparents' house, and Laura and her cousin are looking at the little babies in the bed and arguing over whose baby sister is the prettiest. And then the ma comes in there and stops them. But I just love the illustrations. What a talented, let's see, pictures by Garth Williams. What so talented. I just love them. Let's see if I can find another one. I love this part. There's Mary and Laura in the attic playing among all the food that they've put up with their dolls. That's when Mary has a doll and Laura just has like a corn cob, but then she gets a doll for Christmas. Anyway, telling you all that to tell you, I found this was in the very back, very last page. I thought, now that's some wisdom. I'm going to read that and just tell you. So this is just the very last page of the book. But Laura lay awake a little while, listening to Pa's fiddle softly playing and to the lonely sound of the wind in the big woods. She looked at Pa sitting on the bench by the hearth, the firelight gleaming on his brown hair and beard and glistening on the honey brown fiddle. She looked at Ma gently rocking and knitting. She thought to herself, this is now. She was glad that the cozy house and Pa and Ma and the firelight and the music were now. They could not be forgotten, she thought, because now is now. It can never be a long time ago. Of course, she was saying that because Pa had been singing about the should old acquaintances be forgotten. He'd been singing that song. So she was just thinking about, this is so precious. I don't want this to ever go away. And it's now, so it can't, because it's real. Of course, we know it could go away. We know time passes. We can't stop time. But as a little girl thinking that, it just really touched me. And then I thought, even though I know today will be gone tomorrow, you can't live in the past. I'm not saying that. But we should just hold on. I thought that's so true. We should hold on to the right now. I'm really bad to think about the past. And sometimes I think about the future, but mostly I think about the now and the past. I don't think about the future as much. So I just really loved that. And I thought that was really touching that we should all just embrace the now. Now, for some people, it's not a happy now like it is for her. So maybe you're wanting to think about the future. But if you're like me and you are blessed beyond measure to have a happy right now, we should never take it for granted because we never know what tomorrow brings for us. So, anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, the little thought that I had that I love my life and you're part of my life. So I love all of y'all. I'm so thankful for you. I'm so thankful that God's blessed me to do what I love every day of the world. And I want to embrace every moment of that and be grateful. And of course, as a believer, I give all the glory to the Lord, even for you. So I praise him, but I'm so thankful for all of you. I love you. Thank you for spending your morning with me. I hope I'll be back next week. Please leave some more wisdom. So wonderful to dwell on that wonderful wisdom and inspire each other. Thank you for praying for each other. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye-bye.